The chair is pleased to recognize the chair of the main committee, Dr. Foxx. Representative Foxx, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to reiterate what was said earlier about the fact that we're concerned about the influence of the communist Chinese government here. We are not in any way conflating that concern with talking about Asian Americans. And we're very, very big believers in transparency in this committee, and everything that we talk about, that's what we are asking for. Mr. Gonzalez, you mentioned this briefly in your testimony, but what kind of solutions would you recommend for the problem of foreign influence in K-12 schools?
Well, I believe that given the fact that we're talking about a foreign adversary, the Congress has very much a role here to play. In I would, as I said, suspend all collaboration between U.S. entities and PRC entities that have to do with anything with the State Security Ministry, which is intelligence, or with defense, or anything that, obviously we're going to trade with China, but anything that has to do with defense and or intelligence, you should ban it. Because they're going, as Representative said before, they mean ill to us. They're not paying for these books because we want to learn. They want us to learn. We should learn Mandarin. I've studied Mandarin myself personally, and Japanese and Korean. This is not what this is about. This is about a foreign party, a communist party run country that is trying to influence how we think and how we act.
Thank you. I think it's important that that statement be very clear to people. Ms. Neely, we've talked a lot about the Chinese Communist Party, and for good reason, but I'm afraid other countries might try to copy what they're doing. Is there evidence that other countries are trying to infiltrate U.S. K-12 education?
There is, actually. We found recently several $100,000 in donations going from the Qatar Foundation to schools in Arizona. And in a public records request I got back, again, from Fairfax County Public Schools, we found an inquiry from the Skolkovo Foundation in Russia, which is tied to former Premier Dmitry Medvedev. We're still trying to chase that down, but it very much feels like American schools seem to have an open for business shingle out, and that is deeply worrying.
Thank you very much. Ms. Neely, someone listening to this hearing might come away thinking this is a partisan issue, but I actually suspect that parents on both sides of the aisle do not want foreign governments, especially communist powers, indoctrinating their children. Do you have any polling on how parents feel about this issue?
Yes, we conducted polling on this issue in June just to test the waters and see how people felt. And as you alluded to, there was certainly bipartisan agreement that this kind of interference is inappropriate. 58% of people felt that it was inappropriate for schools to accept money at all from foreign governments. 57% believe that schools should be required to provide translations of materials. 73% felt it was inappropriate for schools to share student data with foreign governments that fund school programs, and 87% felt that respondents felt that districts should be required to disclose when they accept money from foreign governments.
Well, thank you. I'm going to do one more follow-up question on it. You've done a lot of work to give us a better sense of how deeply the CCP has become embedded in the classrooms. What can future researchers do to help us get a better sense of the problem?
The 2019 Senate report has come up a lot, and I think the world has changed a lot since then. We know a lot more, and I urge Congressional Research Service to update that report. Let's think back to when the spy balloon was flying over America a few months ago. Initially, we just thought, hey, this was harmless, and then when it crashed and we dissected it, we found out it was absolutely not. And so I think very much like with that, with the education reports, we should know we know more now than we did then, and we should continue to investigate this.
Thank you very much. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Dr. Foxx.